Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Welcome back for another video. Today we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of buying silver bullion. I found this article on investingnews.com. The link will be in the description. Also, if you do enjoy this video, make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe if you already haven't. I also have a second channel called Coin Conspiracy. So I found this article that shares the pros and cons of buying silver bullion. And I think it's really interesting because I think I know a certain amount of knowledge in the investing world of precious metals, but also when I admit and accept that I don't know everything, it allows me to keep learning and become open-minded. The moment I think I know everything, I'm closed-minded and I'm unteachable. So I like reading articles and hearing different people's perspectives and ideas and opinions because it just allows me to see different angles, different points, and it allows me to keep learning. The moment we become unteachable, we're trapped in this box. So especially with investing in precious metals and even the world of cryptocurrency, it's really important to always keep learning, keep hearing other people out. Just like in the comments of my videos, I hate when people argue and if someone has a different idea or opinion, because both people are usually right. It's just there's different ways to do certain things, especially when it's as diverse as silver and gold are. But anyways, let's jump into this article. So it talks about, it starts off to say, what are the pros and cons of investing in silver bullion? With tensions high worldwide, now may be the time for investors to enter the market. So they list several different reasons why, some of the pros and then some of the cons, as you can see down here. So I'm going to go through all of them, kind of just share my opinion on their points they make, and maybe add some stuff that maybe they didn't cover or whatever. So let's jump into it. The number one is silver can offer protection. It says, as mentioned, investors often flock to precious metals during times of turmoil, which I've mentioned before, like when Y2K was happening, September 11th, things like that in the economy really scare people, and they turn to investments that have real value, intrinsic value, like silver and gold. The 2020 presidential elections coming up next year, so that might be a similar time frame that people might start getting a little uncertain with banks or the government. But it goes on to say, when political and economic uncertainty are rife, legal tender generally takes a back seat to assets like gold and silver. While both gold and silver bullion can be appealing to investors, the white metal tends to get overlooked in favor of individuals investing in gold, even though it plays out the same role, which is interesting. I've also mentioned that it's interesting that people see gold as the royal metal, and it's gold chains and gold rings and everything, but silver is so beneficial. I guess it does make sense if people want the expensive look, because silver is a lot cheaper than gold. Nearly 92 to 1 is the gold to silver ratio. But people, I don't think, understand how beneficial and how much potential there is in silver. So number two is its tangible money. While cash, stocks, bonds, and other financial products are accepted forms of wealth, they're essentially still digital promissory notes, and for that reason they are all vulnerable to depreciating or due to actions like printing money. Silver bullion, on the other hand, is a tangible asset that is finite, and that means, though, although it's vulnerable to the market fluctuations like other commodities, physical silver isn't likely to completely crash because of its inherent and real value. And I've mentioned that before as well. Silver has intrinsic value. So with our promissory notes, with our fiat currency, that's just a promise. There's nothing backed by that dollar until, after they terminated the gold standard. All of our fiat currency was backed by basically nothing, and that causes hyperinflation, massively producing these paper dollars, putting us in trillions of dollars in debt. And now, we see where we're at in our financial system, in our economy. But gold and silver store its value. It preserves its wealth against these types of things. So, Chris Dwayne, an investor and a YouTube figure, said he puts his metal where his mouth is by liquidating his assets and putting his money into silver bullion when prices get low. Dwayne believes that our money system, and indeed our entire way of life, is built on an unsustainable debt. In his opinion, the purpose of investing in silver bullion is to take yourself out of the mathematically inevitable collapse of that system, which is a very, very good point, and I'm glad they mentioned that in there, because no government or no economy or country has ever successfully benefited from a fiat currency based system. It just doesn't work. Inflation rates, hyperinflation, all just pump out worthless dollars, and it loses its purchasing power over the years, and the dollar's lost nearly 98% of its purchasing power, and it's basically worthless nowadays. And there's so many cashless nations in these countries that are all turning to digital age and using actually Bitcoin and cryptocurrency now. It's just incredible that we still try to use the same system that's been failing, trying to get ourselves out of debt by using the same system that put us in debt. It just doesn't make sense. But anyways, number three is it's cheaper than gold. Between gold and silver bullion, the white metal is not only less expensive of the two bullion products and therefore more accessible to buy, but it's also more versatile to spend. That means if you are wanting to use your silver coins as currency, they're easier to break down than gold because they're lower in value. Just as a $100 bill can be a challenge to break at shops, divvying up an ounce of gold can be a challenge. As a result, silver bullion is more practical and versatile than the physical gold. And that's also a really good point as well. There is two sides of this coin, though, no pun intended, because gold, you can store a large amount of wealth in a very small space. You can put hundreds of thousands of dollars of gold in a shoebox, but hundreds of thousands of dollars in silver would take up a very, very, very large safe if they even make it that size. So it's interesting. It really does depend on, your individual plan. Maybe you divide it up between gold and silver just to kind of cut it down a little bit. But that is a burden on silver. So when it was 4, silver offers higher returns than gold. Because silver bullion is worth around a 1/79th, and now it's in 192. I guess, yeah, the ratio is actually 92 or 93 to 1 right now, all-time highs. But anyways, the price of gold bullion, it is affordable, and it stands to see much bigger percentages gaining while silver prices go up. In fact, in the past, silver outperformed gold in the bull markets, according to Gold Silver. And Gold Silver claims from that 2008 to 2011, silver gained 448%, while gold just gained 166% in that time period. And that's when we saw silver hit $50. And that's also the 2000s when I mentioned, all that stuff happened. Y2K, it started off with September 11th, and then, all that just the 2000 era was terrible for the economy, and a lot of people were scared, a lot of panic, a lot of fear sets in, and that's when people turned to, they really didn't trust the governments or trust banks at all. So it doesn't make sense. So number 5 is history's on silver side. Silver and gold have been used for currency for hundreds and hundreds of years, and it's actually thousands of years. And that lineage lends the metal a sense of stability. Many find comfort in knowing that this metal has been recognized for its value throughout the great deal of mankind's history, so there's an expectation that it will endure, while fiat currency may fall to the wayside, which is a very good point. Gold and silver has been used as trade for a value for thousands of years and always has been seen as valuable, always will be seen as valuable, where our fiat currency has not always been the case, especially the way it's failing. There has to be a new system in place for this to work. Something has to change. I don't know what the answer is. The gold standard cannot fix it now. We're way too past that. I made a video about Donald Trump talking about, jokingly talking about the gold standard, but it's too late. Something else would have to be in place. I don't know what that is. Some people say cryptocurrency is the answer, but I don't think, cryptocurrency is way too low in beta stage to even try to apply that to our fiat currency, a decentralized asset, combining with a centralized asset, or a centralized, actual form of currency. It is interesting the way they are kind of combining now, but I definitely still think a lot of things need to take place. So I'm going to go to the cons of owning silver bullion now. So now they talk about the lack of liquidity, which I actually mentioned. That's what they're talking about. That's what I was mentioning when I was saying, the how much gold you can fit in a shoebox compared to silver. But they're also saying, there's a chance that if you hold physical silver, it may not be immediately liquid. And in order to make the common purchases, such as groceries, you're not able to use bars of silver, so you need to convert that to currency first, which is true, but that's also why you would definitely want to be stacking fiat currency on the side before you even invest in silver. So that's a weird con. You're not going to be, if you're broke, you're not going to just be buying silver. If you want to start investing, you need to stack some fiat currency up first so you can pay your rent, have some emergency money set aside in case there's medical bills or something like that, which I've mentioned before. So you don't want to be just investing in silver, barely being able to feed yourself at night. Number 2 is danger of theft. Unlike most other investments such as stocks, holding silver bullion can leave investors vulnerable to theft. Securing your assets from looting may incur another cost, including a safety deposit box and a bank. Which is true. But there's also the other side of that where, if you can't hold it, you don't own it. So a lot of people would rather, store it themselves and have their own security rather than just putting their entire trust in a bank, or putting their trust on these exchanges, as far as that as well, because there's a lot of scamming nowadays. Most robberies nowadays happen with scammers on the internet. Look at cryptocurrency, how many people got hacked and how many millions of dollars, billions of dollars have been stolen from these exchanges. And so it really is a two-way street on that. That's just something that most people do prefer to secure it themselves. They feel more comfortable that way. So number three is a weak return on investment. Although silver bullion may be a good safe haven asset, it's not performing well as other investments, for example, real estate or even other metals. And that could be true. That is a true point, but this also depends on why you're buying silver. Silver is more of a longer term investment. You're preserving your wealth. You're transferring your fiat currency into something that holds its value. It's not a get rich quick scheme, unless you can take it that way. If you want to get into numismatics and semi numismatics, you can definitely flip coins, buy them, with the 2019 or 2020 coins right when they come out for super cheap, and then wait a couple of years for them to double, triple in value, then flip them on eBay. So you can do that, but if you're looking at it from a technical standpoint, then yes, there's other investments you could make more money on. But we're not looking at silver for that reason. We see the potential value in the bigger picture behind that, looking at how undervalued it is, looking at the gold to silver ratio, looking at the technological advances and beneficial aspects it has for the economy and for the industrial world even. So that's why we invest. It's not always about getting money right now. So I thought that was a pretty interesting article. What do you guys think about this? Did you think it was a good article? I thought it was pretty good. Some of the things were I don't think it was thought through all the way. So for new people, they might be taking it the wrong way. But that's why I like making videos like this, to kind of share my opinion on it. It was a good article, though. He made some really good points, and I'm glad that this is out there. If you guys want to check it out, the link will be in the description. And also make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, found it entertaining or educational. Also, make sure to subscribe to my second channel, Coin Conspiracy. I'm trying to grow that channel as well. I think it's going to be really cool. It's a really cool project to work on and start something new. But also, just thanks for tuning in. I appreciate everyone. Have a happy 4th of July. I posted 2 videos on July 3rd today. I also posted another video earlier today. If you want to go check that out. I'm just trying to do as much, and maybe take the day off tomorrow, just spend it with family and stuff. That's why I'm posting 2 videos today. But hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys soon. Peace.